live streaming. So what am I looking at then? All right. Okay, trying something new out today. We're going to try streaming from the GoPro. So we'll see how that works. I don't know how the audio is going to be because I'm just using the regular audio from the GoPro itself. So it's a little bit different than what I've been normally doing, but we're going to give it a shot. So we'll try it. Let's see how that goes. What's going on, everybody? It is just about 3 p.m. here in Chicago, and that is Central Time. And hopefully it is a good day wherever you are. Happy Friday to everyone. In case you guys forgot that it's Friday, I kind of forgot as well. So Steve76 is here. What's going on? Max Resinger says looks good. Hopefully you guys can all see me. Give me a thumbs up or something if you can see me. All right. David Sachs says looks good. Sounds good. Awesome. What's going on?
Nutella right on
I'm not going to put Nutella on your cheese.
Tastes better.
I don't think it will. I don't think you're going to like Nutella and cheese together. What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe next time, okay? All right. So I got a different setup here today. So I'm trying to stream from the GoPro. And I'm still using the iPad, but I'm gonna use that as kind of like a like the chat board. And so that I think is gonna be a little bit different. So everyone's saying the audio and camera quality is great. So hopefully this keeps working up. Paul WG says thumbs down to Nutella and cheese. I mean, those are her two favorite things. So it makes sense that she would try to combine them. So I'm happy that she's kind of experimenting in that regard. So she's expanding her culinary horizons. But you know, there's certain decisions that a person can't be told are bad. They have to learn it for themselves, and that's kind of where she's at, I think. All right. Yeah, so I'm trying the GoPro Hero. I wish I could get it to be less fisheye over here. So I'm not a huge fan of how fisheye everything kind of looks, but yeah. Well, I'm seeing it, liking it okay. Maybe if I pick a different resolution next time, I can get it to be a little bit tighter in on me so it's not as fisheye. So we'll try it. Cody Davis asks, is it sliced cheese or cheese in a can? It is Baby Bell, like the little rounds. Oh, look, what did you put on here? What is that?
Ketchup.
Ketchup? She found the ketchup. So yeah, that's what's going on in our house. So if anyone wants to know how is the quarantine life for us here, we're ketchup on cheese. That's where we're at, ketchup on cheese. Michael Sessler, what's going on? He says, anyone else having issues with Strava and Google Maps? Apparently some outages like in his area, can't record any efforts. Oh, I haven't seen that. That's crazy. I haven't seen that at all, so hopefully that's a very limited thing, and hopefully that gets resolved for you soon. Cody Davis says, haha, kids are great. They certainly are. Phil Neville is saying hi, he's here from Switzerland. Ramon Garcia saying hey, awesome to see you guys in here. Max Resinger, thanks for tuning in this afternoon. It has been, what's going on?
I spit the cheese with ketchup on in the bathroom.
You didn't like it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad you tried it out. She didn't like ketchup on cheese. Although, like, ketchup and cheese isn't that, like, miserable of a combination. It's like grilled cheese and tomato sauce. Maybe she's just ahead of her time and she's making a deconstructed lunch meal, but maybe not. EL says he's having Strava issues and it crashes on his phone frequently. That's unusual. So I'll look into that, see if I can figure anything out. I haven't seen anything like that before. Luis Becerra, he said he wouldn't know because he hasn't been running with the lockdown. And Mark Trujillo says good settings for GoPro 8 for limiting the fisheye are 2.7, 30 frames per second, and linear lens. Yeah, I will. Okay, hold on. I gotta keep it a little bit colder over here. Okay.
It's a little open.
Yeah, it's only open a little. Okay. Why don't you go play with? Can you play with your sister for a little bit?
That's locked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I had set it up so that way it was supposed to be on. The last setting that it was on 4K, 30 frames per second, and linear. And then as I went to turn it on to GoPro to stream to YouTube, it switched it to 1080. But then I think it chose this wide setting that's over here, what that I'm seeing. And so I don't know if there's a way to do that. I'll have to play around with it a little bit more and see if I can play around with that. Because I think 1080 at the linear would look nice, especially like right here. These go on your knees, honey.
I want them on my elbows.
Okay, we'll try it.
Where are my other knee pads?
I don't know.
Well,
Where are you going? What do you need elbow pads for?
Just to make sure I don't get hurt.
Okay, well, safety first. It's true. Good? All right, go on. Yeah. So I'll try to figure out what's going on with it. But so far, I'm kind of liking it. I'm liking the stream. I think it's pretty good. Let's see. Running with Pete says, happy Friday from Phoenix. Expected high of 99. Wow, that's pretty high. Here, it's been a little bit on the chilly side. We're below average still for the spring. But I think that's just the way like Chicago temperatures go. It is always a little bit misleading because like there's the monthly average or even the daily average. But we're always either 10 degrees above average or 10 degrees below average. And so the average averages out to a certain number, but you're rarely at that number for the day. That's just the way Chicago is. Anthony Cardella says, any trails around the Chicagoland area you enjoy outside of the downtown area? Love the vids. Thanks. Well, thanks for commenting. There are trails around here that I enjoy. Yes, that I enjoy. That I have frequent? No. I generally don't like to commute to exercise because I'm lazy or I don't have a lot of time. But occasionally I guess I've only done it the 1 or 2 times. I run with my buddy. He lives closer to the North Branch Trail, which is a little bit north of here. And so that's an area that he can run on, and you run through some woods. It's not really a trail. Most of it's paved. I think it's all paved, but you run through some parks, you run through some woods, and it's pretty nice. There are other areas in the suburbs that lots of people run to. A lot of people from the city will go commute and run to. They'll go in a group. Me and my running buddy have been constantly meaning to go do that, and just we kind of have run out of time. But for sure, like once everything kind of gets back to some semblance of normal, it's something that we're definitely planning on doing because we haven't gone for a run together in forever. We haven't seen each other in forever. So it's something that I will look forward to, and I'll definitely bring you guys along. Peter Charles Weller says, what's the strategy for getting up early for a run while the rest is still in deep slumber? Seems like one of the hardest ones. Yeah, it's something that I kind of got used to. For me, a lot of my motivators are fear in a way, kind of like the FOMO type of fear, like fear of missing out. For me, being able to get up and early to either work on a video or to get up and run, it's like that's the only time in my day that I can do that. Like I have other time in the day, but I can't like go and do something by myself a lot of the times, and so I just time shift all that stuff. So anything that I want to make, another way that I do it is, I put the stuff that I want to make sure I do every day, I put that up front in the beginning. I try to treat my days like a surgeon. The most important things go first. I'm sensitive first. I make that I get done. There are some things that are important. Sure, they can't be time shifted, and so they happen whenever they happen. If I don't get up and run in, I can't. That's like a big motivator for me. So I don't know if that'll work for everyone else. Yeah, we're on a tape delay now when you're looking at it over here. That's the camera, but you'll see yourself over there eventually. All right, see yourself now, you're in there. Okay. Michael Sesser says he's hearing that there's no anticipated fixed time frame for what's going on in Strava, so sorry about that. Sorry to hear that that's going to take a while. And Dawid de Ritter says, South Africa allowed to exercise outdoors from May 1st. Yeah, that's awesome. I heard that you guys are opening up. First time in 37 days. That's crazy. You're still not allowed to buy shoes, though. Yeah, I hear you. He says he doesn't physically need new shoes, but emotionally he needs them. Yeah, I can understand that. Hold on, don't touch that, please. Can't touch it. Try says, do I think it's worth it to buy a Garmin Phoenix 5? Don't touch it. If you touch it, then you have to get down from here, okay? do I think it's worth it to buy a Garmin Fenix 5 or upgrade from the former Forerunner 920 XT? Those are two watches that I unfortunately don't have a lot of experience with. And I think from my perspective, as someone that just does road running and occasionally gets on a trail, a lot of watches are probably overkill for what I need. And so a lot of the times, like the functionality of the watch itself isn't what gets me into a higher price range of watches I prefer. It's usually like the other things, like how good is like the sleep tracking, how good is it at telling me like, am I doing well in my training plan, or am I overtraining, am I undertraining, that kind of thing. But given your username, TryBoyTry, I'm guessing that you're multi-sport, and so the Fenix 5 I think is geared specifically towards triathlon training and triathletes. And so I think that it may be worth it. Compared to the Forerunner 920 though, I'm not sure. That I can't really answer that question, I'm afraid. Paul WG says he needs new shoes too, and Zappos is taking forever to deliver. Ooh, and others have limited stock. Yeah, I think that a big problem with that is that, you know, the shoes are coming from China, a lot of them, or they're shipping through China to get here. And so there's very obviously some delays in production or shipping that have happened over the past couple months that I think has really affected a lot of the distribution channels. Steve76 says, do you remember the shoes you ran on your first marathon? How would they compare to today's shoes? The shoes, I don't remember what they were. They were Mizuno something. They were the stability version of the Daily Trainer. I don't remember what they were.
Have you seen my pink Legos?
I haven't seen
the orange doors?
I don't know where that is, honey.
Has to be a Lego.
Yeah, I know. Are they not in there? If they're not in there, then I don't know. There's some in the bathroom as well, by the tub. Sorry. Yeah, there were Mizuno somethings. I remember they were stability because they just tore up my knees, or they just hurt my knees real bad after a while. And how would they compare? Those shoes were heavy and a little bit stiff. That's what I remember about them. But, you know, that's what shoes kind of like were. So at the time, they just felt like shoes. I don't really know how to compare them, because you know you don't know what you don't know, or you don't know what you could be experiencing back then. I feel like they were, you know, not state of the art, but like good, decent running shoes at the time. Let's see. Ryan Daugherty says, am I doing a running shoe giveaway anytime soon? No, I don't think so.
I think the pink logo with the orange door connects to this.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, honey. I still don't know. Can you go look? Do you want to go look? It's over by the bike. That's where your Legos are. Yeah, no running shoe giveaways that I'm currently planning. I'm still trying to give away a pair of the Adios 5. I've tried to contact the winner a couple of times from way back. And so Roadrunner Sports has been hounding me because they want to give those shoes away. So I'm still trying to give those away. I think like my next one that I can see happening is probably not until later this summer. So stay tuned, but I don't have any plans for it right away. Scott asks, have I had any success gluing a tear in the sole of the heel? Kicked off the peg turbo and it ripped. I've never had that happen to my shoes. Okay, I don't know then, hon.
I think it's in the
Yeah, hey, do you want to sit up here and hang out, or what do you want to do? You gotta stop coming back and forth. You gotta pick something, okay? Yeah, so I've never had that happen. I know some people have been able to glue it, but for the most part, I would try and return them if they've ripped along the seam of the React foam and the Zoom X. I think a lot of people, usually you have to go through like Nike, like a process, like emailing them and stuff and telling them what happened, but usually they'll honor even if you're outside of the return period, is what I've seen. I'm not promising that, but that's what I've seen that has worked for other people. Let's see. Tino V says, hello, have you guys talked about, yep, have you guys talked about...
this tiny key connected to a tiny treasure chest.
A tiny treasure chest? Where's that tiny treasure chest, though? Do you know where it is?
You must have lost.
We must have lost it, I'm sure. It's a mystery treasure now. If only we had a map. All right, the camera's over here, remember. Tino V says, hello, have you guys talked about these virtual races? Curious on your thoughts. We've talked about it generally a couple times in different the live streams. I think that they're great for people if people can do them safely. Personally, not all that interested in like trying to run PRs right now or trying to even like run race efforts. For me personally, I'm just not like into it. I'd rather just kind of log a whole bunch of miles, maybe do some hard efforts, maybe do some mostly easy efforts, but kind of run for how I feel. But if other people can do it safely, I think that's great. The thing that worries me about some of the virtual racing, though, is that it may inadvertently encourage a lot of people to be out in similar areas at the same time. That's kind of like the only thing. But as long as people are doing it safely, I think it's cool. But I think like everyone's kind of like coping with everything that's going on in their own way, and you know, to each kind of their own. Let's see. Super Schmaltz says, finally leaving for a run 2 hours after he wanted to leave. Tyler said, what's a nap? Yeah, I know. Like, we've given up on our 3-year-old for the naps. She's never been good at taking, neither of our kids were ever very good at taking naps on the weekends because I think they just always wanted to hang out. And we've never been really good about it because we always feel guilty because we work so much. But during this time, like, you know, I've just given up on trying to give her a nap. I settle for maybe a little bit of just quiet time where we're just kind of relaxing and playing quietly. But even now, that's just hard to do. Bertley Guest says, just watched the vid about the bathroom problem. I had it a lot too. Coffee wasn't a cause for me. Well, I drink it a lot. Just need to make sure you go to the bathroom enough before he runs. Yeah, and normally the thing is, normally that hasn't been a problem for me, but lately it has. And so that's why I think it's either stress or timing or diet or any combination of those things. Because normally I would wake up at 4, have a bunch of coffee, but I wouldn't go by 5:30. I've been training my body to go. Although normally I would go right when I woke up. So it's just a mystery. Hopefully it's just a temporary thing. But lately I've just been running really small loops around the neighborhood, not venturing too far away just in case. So yeah. Let's see. Jonathan Austin says, I think I'm going to switch back to Apple Watch 5 from Phoenix series. I'm not up to running even a marathon length yet, and I think the Apple Watch can handle it, swimming and biking. That's cool. Like the only thing that is hard for, I would think for multi-sport with the Apple Watch would be, I'm sure there's apps that probably handle it well, but you know, there's only 2 buttons on the watch. And I guess when I think about it, there's really only 2 buttons at a time that I need to press when I'm using like a Polar watch or a Garmin. But on an Apple Watch, like the crown button can't be remapped for a lot of the apps. I think it's part of like the design guidelines. And so you're really down to 1 button or like a double pressing like the menu button and the home button. Like there's the other button and then the round button at the same time. Which leads to a lot of like long presses or taps or swipes. And so that has always been like problematic for me, especially in the wintertime. So, and I don't know how it would be for trying to do like laps or intervals when you're in the pool, because that's something that I've never done, but I envision it could make for some difficulties when touch is the primary interface. Like most of the watches that are on the high end for GPS watches are touch, but for the most part, I find myself never using interface. I'd rather use to go down or go back. So that's kind of how I like it anyway, especially if it's this small, because when you're touching something, you're blocking like the entire screen. So that's kind of how I felt. Although I do feel like if they can make like an Apple Watch, or if like Nike made watches again, like if they can make it like an Apple Watch but just have like a 3-day battery on it, I'd probably use that. Maybe add another button, maybe 1 more, maybe 2 buttons. I would get that. If it were round, even better, but I know that wouldn't happen. Oscar Kuo is heading out for a long run soon. Thanks for that IG bathroom reminder. Yeah, go for it. Take care of business and then go take care of business. Have a good one. EF Corman says, sorry I'm late. Starlink was making a flyby here. Oh, cool. Bringing better YouTube connections. Awesome. Carlos FG21 says, hey, did you see that Seth ran last week 2:58? He told that he had problems since mile 6 and he still ran 2:58. The dude is an animal. What do you think? Yeah, he's superhuman. Well, he's not superhuman. He's just elite. One time I saw him on Strava. He had done like maybe it was like a 15-mile run at like 8:30 pace, and his heart rate was like 110 beats per minute or something insanely low like that. And so like, I mean, that for me is 145 beats per minute, 830. So it's just like, that shows you like the different level of fitness and natural ability that he has. Mostly it's fitness, but I'm sure a lot of natural ability too. And that he can just go out there and casually bust out a 258 is pretty amazing. Especially after he just ran, what is it, a 50 miler like a week beforehand? Or is it a 50K or is it 50 miles? I think it was 50 miles, right? So like, he is a machine. Christopher Lipa says, are Hoka Challenger worth getting for rainy, muddy roads and or winter runs? I have the Challenger ATR Gore-Tex, and I really like those shoes quite a bit, but they are a little bit stiff. Like Hoka lists those as being like a crossover shoe, like a little bit of trail and a little bit of road. I find that I don't really like them on pavement at all. They're just too stiff of a shoe. It hurts because there's like just a lot of like protection around the toe box that makes it inflexible. But when I'm on trails, especially when things get a little bit sloppy or a little bit technical, then I really love it. Then it's a great shoe because you're just dancing around tree roots and rocks and sliding around in mud. Then it's great. It's got big lugs. I love the shoe. And so like that shoe has been great for me in that situation. I like it purely as a trail shoe. What I would call a technical or moderate trail, what most people probably call like an easy trail. But like that, or just some sloppy conditions, that's where I really like it. So whether it's worth it, I mean, I don't know, but that's kind of my take on it. Let's see, my mom's here. How's it going, Mom? Ryan Doherty asked if I tried the glide ride. I have like the 3 ride that I 2020, but I'll see, maybe I'll do it. But I mean, I think for anyone that's curious about it, I think speaking of Seth, he did his charity run, that ultra distance in the glide rides. So you know, I think that's a pretty good endorsement of it right there. Adam Mander says, at what point do you recommend carbon fiber plate shoes? I'm a new and fairly slow runner right now and curious when and if I should invest in that type of shoe. I think you should invest in that type of shoe when you want to have it. The way I feel about shoes, it's your money and your feet, and other people can complain all they want, but who cares? It's your money and your feet. You know, people say like, you know, unless there's only one shoe that I've heard people say like really only, you know, like faster than a 3-hour marathon or maybe like or faster. Awesome, I love it. It looks like it's much warmer.
I couldn't find it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's why I'm wondering.
Okay, sounds good. She's changed for the 3rd time today, which I think is every. But so, like the Brooks Hyperion Elite, that's where I've run in it and I'm like, I'm not sure I like this. And people that are like, I'm a 250 marathoner, you got to be really running 250, 45 and the shoe. And I guess I have to take their word for it because I can't. But other than that, like shoes, people are at least saying, I mean, I guess this is like people that are saying it, that it should provide some benefit to runners of pretty much. And the way I think of it is, you know, if you've done your marathon training block and you've been training for now and you're taking care of all the things and you just want to like, all right, the hay's in the barn. People tell you that by the time you get the taper all the time. Make sure you got a good taper here that you think for, and I think that it'll help you. For a lot of people, it's like if you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you run good. You know, and so if it's a placebo, it's a pretty cheap placebo if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. If you look at how much people spend on running clothes, on running nutrition, recovery gear, all that kind of thing. So I say, if you want it, go for it. Let's see. John Bryan says, loves his Turbo 2s, and he's only going to take them to 277 miles, though. Yeah, but I think that's pretty standard for like a Nike shoe. For most running shoes that I've encountered for road miles, in that like 300-mile range is about where I would feel comfortable taking a shoe. At that point, I'd probably start thinking about retiring them, even if I think there might be a little bit of life left in them, just because I'm always worried that like, well, what if tomorrow's the day that I take them out for a run and then they like feel dead and then I hurt myself, you know? So I'm always rather, if I'm going to err on the side of caution, I anticipate that I won't be able to perfectly time exactly when a shoe dies. So if I'm going to err, I'd rather err on the side of caution. And so Terrence Hui says, how many races are you signed up for that are postponed or yet to be? I'm signed up for kind of 2/3. So Boston, Chicago Marathon, those are 2 that I'm signed up for. The 3rd one is the Chicago Half Marathon in the fall. that I'm not technically signed up for, but I've been working with. Oh, awesome! Where I will be working. Ooh, mystery lollipop. Is that good? What flavor is it? What do you think? Is it a mystery?
No.
No? Does it taste like pineapple? It looks like it might be pineapple.
No.
Okay.
It's watermelon.
Watermelon, awesome. But I'm going to be working with Lifetime to help kind of promote the Chicago Half Marathon, and so I'll be getting a bib from them. Well, that was the idea anyway, and so that would have been like my third race. The other race that I probably would have signed up for had I, anticipate that it would get postponed or canceled would be the Soldier Field 10 mile. Because that is a fun race. It's one of my favorites, but that one just got canceled. Now it's virtual only. So those are the ones. The other one, I was planning to do another Ragnar relay with one of my running buddies, but we haven't signed up for it yet because I just don't. It's not till the end of July, but I'm not sure if that one will actually happen. We'd have to fly to get there, so like I'm not really eager to get on a plane, even if it's at the end of July. William Newman asked, do I have any experience with this or thoughts on the Saucony guide?
I accidentally
Okay.
sat in my Lego box.
Uh-oh, that's silly. I don't have any experience with it. My wife has experience with it. She's running it. She didn't really like it, but she's hard to kind of figure out what kind of running shoe works for her. She's just so hit or miss. So I don't have any experience with the guide myself. Let's see. Anymore. Export is a solution for a lot of you out there. Catamounts FC says, what shoes would I recommend for? That's a question I get a lot. Someone in the comments can help you out on that one because I don't have flat feet, and so I don't know if you guys need something that has not a lot of like a protrusion in the arch, or if you need something more to help lift your arch up. I suspect you need a really flat kind of insole shoe for that, but I'm not sure. And Bud says, this is awesome. The mystery, intrigue, and co-presenter. That's, yeah, thank you. That's so funny. Jay Weingart says, do I take elevator in the building? I do. If someone is in the elevator already when it comes to me, I will wait for the next one. And then sometimes I can't help it. I'm in the elevator, and some people will try to get in. Usually, if I can easily do it, I'll get out if someone insists on kind of like getting in. But if I can't, I just kind of hold my breath the entire time. I wear a face covering every time I go out too, so I think I'm okay. But the elevator is certainly the most dangerous part of my day. Let's see. Steve76 says, waiting for an Ed Bud Kofuzi collab in Yeovil. I would love that. That would be awesome. Hopefully we can make that work out sometime, maybe not in the near future, but sometime soon. Let's see. Walden H says, am I in maintenance miles right now or doing some tempo workouts? The baby got up here and knocked everything down. Okay, let's see. Are we all right? Sorry, guys. All right, I had some technical difficulties this morning too, similar. All right, get your cupcake. So I'm mostly I'm kind of like in maintenance or like off-season mode is how I would categorize it, where I'm doing mostly low heart rate miles. And if I feel good and running fast, or I feel like this is a day where I want to put some quicker shoes on and run fast, I'll run fast. Like normally what I was planning for this summer was to like do that Ragnar trail race where there would have been a lot of vertical climbing, a lot of trail running, maybe even hop into some obstacle course racing, just leave the summer open before like I start getting ready for the Chicago Marathon. So I'm kind of taking that approach to it. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm taking that approach to it where I will kind of just run for fun, really. Running hasn't been all that fun lately, so I'm trying to get out of that funk a little bit, but I'm trying to get to the point where I'm just enjoying, daily miles. And so that's kind of my approach. There might be some tempo workouts in there, but nothing like, 4x5Ks. If I do tempo work, it'll be like, fartleks, 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, or maybe like a 10-minute tempo block inside like a regular daily run. All right, so Jason Clinton says, are you going to be able to get some miles in and review the Adazero
Daddy,
Pro anytime soon? I would love to.
I want to put this on the speaker.
No, thank you. I would love to, but I got to get my hands on a pair first. So I don't currently have anyone intending to send me a pair, so I'm gonna have to wait till they actually release and try and buy them online like everybody else. So once that happens, though, it is one of the shoes I am most highly anticipating for 2020. So very excited to get that shoe. Bert Legas says, what do you all drink to hydrate before, during, and after a run? I drink a lot of carb-based sports drink before and during, Cis or Aquarius, and afterwards I never have protein-based recovery drinks. For me, beforehand, it's usually just coffee. In the winter, I don't drink hardly anything ever, just because I don't want to carry liquids. And I usually just drink gels that are a little bit more liquidy, kind of like you were saying with SIS. The Science and Sport gels are like very liquidy. The Unived gels are very liquidy. So I'll have something like that to take care of hydration. And afterwards, I usually like either noon to get electrolytes back, or I do like a protein drink if I can. I'd rather eat something after a run. I know some people are really like, you gotta eat within 30 minutes because your body is starved for protein. I don't really think that the body works that way. I'm not a registered dietitian or a physiologist, but I do think that there is a nugget of wisdom in getting some protein and carbs in your system after a run. So, but it depends. If it's just an easy run, maybe not as important. If it's a hard run, I like to make sure I have some protein and some sort of anti-inflammatories in the drink too, or in the thing that I'm eating, whether it's turmeric or chia seeds or something like that. Edbud says, when the lockdown madness is over, Mike will have to come over and we can eat hot cross buns and run all day. That sounds awesome. I love that idea. Greg says, Vidahara Design says, virtual races are a last resort for race directors, especially the smaller ones, and the charity the race is for loses the donations from the race from refunds. Yeah. I knew that, but I hadn't really thought about it that way in terms of the amount that the charity would get in terms of support. So I might have to rethink that in terms of whether I'm going to do virtual races or not. But I always thought of it more as like appeasing the people that are disappointed that the race is canceled, but I didn't really think of it from trying to make sure that you're able to donate and support the charity. So that's a great point. Matt Holman says, I can't figure out how to do intervals on my Apple Watch. If I didn't have a data plan, I'd have bought a Polar by now. The app that I recommend is iSmooth Run 26.2. It's a blue app, or at least the icon was blue the last time I used it. That is by far the simplest interface for building in a workout that I've used on any watch, and I love it. Polars is so cumbersome to use that I generally find myself just memorizing the workout and manually hitting the lap timers. The one on iSmooth Run is great. You set it up, it's pretty straightforward. It even remembers the previous workouts you've done, so you can, like, if you just need to modify last week's a little bit, you can make a copy and then go from there, and it makes it really quick. And then like 5 seconds before the next interval comes, whether it's the end of the work phase or the end of a rest phase, it'll give you a reminder, and then it'll automatically start to the next thing. So it's fantastic. I love it. But the rest of the app, it's not going to give you what you need. Michael Sessler says, don't do Apple, usually map my run also, but it was broken yesterday too, hoping for better today. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down here, try and get some of the later ones. All right. Let's see. Okay. So I'm just trying to get used to, like, it looks a little bit different than what it's been looking like before. So just trying to get used to that because I'm using the GoPro here. John Bryan says he has the Phoenix 5 and it uploads to Strava in seconds. It is the most accurate sleep monitor that he's ever used. That's what's going